So welcome to Talking Ball Georgia edition, I would say. So we
Weekly.
yeah, weekly Georgia weekly edition. So in this video, we're going to just kind of discuss, what Georgia needs to do to get past Michigan and then get back to the rematch, which is what we are all expecting. Alabama.
What has to happen and what has to change in order for Georgia to bounce back?
Yeah. But first of all, I'd like to thank Cam Smith with the Just Jesus Radio Network.
Thank you, Cam.
Our boy Dave is on there Saturday mornings at 8:30. Internet radio app for your gospel preaching, gospel singing. We do appreciate it, Cam, for sponsoring us. Also with the American Senior Benefits Insurance Company. I think open enrollment is Tuesday. So if
Tuesday, baby.
Well, by the time this video posts, open enrollment's going to be over. So I apologize for that. But you had your chance because we've told you every time. So if you didn't enroll,
Unless we could versus Marvin.
it's on you.
Hey,
So,
real quick, dude to the right loves the clock.
I do have the clock. And they closed on Sunday.
Are they?
I think
Yeah,
I think
remember that? Yeah.
Copper River.
COVID, I guess.
If you're sitting at home right now doing
Manny's,
unemployment and you can work, you're sorry as can be.
Yeah, so we apologize.
I didn't care if I hurt nobody's feelings. I don't care.
Yeah, but like I said, Cam Insurance Company, we do appreciate it.
Cam's
Cam,
the man.
Cam is the man. But yeah, let's dive into this, and I'll let Dave do a lot of the talking on this
I'm
video.
gonna lie, I have some deep thoughts I want to throw out there.
I want to clarify a whole lot.
I could talk about this for like an hour.
Yeah, if you see me on my phone, it's because I'm trying to upload another video.
There's a lot of things I need to say, but
R.I.P. to BV, baby.
I'll say this.
He's not dead. He's just...
Right off the bat, as a diehard Georgia fan, I've not given up on this team.
You shouldn't.
I'm not going to. I stand behind Kirby Smart, and I don't agree with all the decisions he makes or our staff makes, but I'm going to stand behind him. The guys that get paid to do what they do get paid to do what they do. Kirby doesn't call me and tell me how to run my job. I don't tell him how to run his job. He's a lot better and a lot more knowledgeable on the subject of football than I'll ever be. With that said, I do believe a quarterback change may be necessary. I will go into that. But I also want to say, don't be a prisoner of the moment, and don't quit on this team. And these are the same boys that a month ago we all said as Georgia fans we wouldn't play a game close the rest of the year.
Yep.
As Georgia fans,
And that might have been a bit naive, but regardless of the fact,
right.
there was reason to believe that.
And you do it every year.
100%.
Every year you have that one team that goes, oh, well, they could beat the Browns, or oh, they could beat the worst NFL team. And really, that's never true. And then sooner or later, they really end up either losing or almost losing. And you're like, okay, guys, calm down. But there's so much I could say. But I want to be known I'm not giving up on these boys. I believe in these boys. And I'll say this too. And I'm not one for more victories. But we played our worst game. We played in really since,
At least defensively, especially.
man, really since Florida last year. We
Yeah,
played
probably.
the worst game we played since Florida last year. Defensively especially. And with 7 minutes left in the game, we were down by 14 points. People don't understand. This game was a close game.
It was, and me and you were talking before. Honest to goodness, as all big games really do come down to,
Just a few plays.
it's just a few plays. Let's take that interception that Brock Bowers. It was a scramble drill gone wrong. You can't really blame himself. It probably wasn't the best decision.
It was a risky throw.
It was a risky throw.
But it was there.
But it absolutely was there. You take away that interception. You take away the drop pass by Brock Bowers in the end zone. That was nearly an impossible catch to
It was
make.
a hard catch, but if you give it to him.
And you give it
And
to
I'll say
him,
this about Stetson. That ball right there
that was a great ball.
one of the best balls I've ever seen.
It was.
He couldn't have walked out there and set
100%.
it up there better.
You give him that. Maybe instead of going for that 1 4 down, take the field goal and recover that fumble.
Yep.
4 plays. And you have a completely different football game. And I've been guilty of being the prisoner of the moment. I really thought Alabama didn't have a chance in this game because of the way they looked against Auburn.
Yep.
I saw the way they played against Auburn. I know they ended up scoring towards the end, but they pretty much put like 3 to 10 points against Auburn. I was like, Georgia's going to do next level stuff to them. We were wrong. And you're absolutely right, Dave, when you say Georgia did play their worst game, especially defensively.
Yep.
But Bama does deserve credit
No doubt.
for that.
Absolutely.
And that might not be because they just played their worst game. It could be because Bama just matches up so well against them. But as David said, it's easy to be a prisoner of the moment. Don't forget, was it 2017?
I'm hurt.
Yeah, when 2017 when Auburn beat y'all bad, and then just a few weeks later y'all beat them
And
bad.
Auburn beat us bad to the point that I didn't want to play another game. And I was like,
Right.
Right.
I was like, they'll just do it to us again. But, we came back, and all people were saying, oh, it's not the same thing. We need a quarterback change. People were calling for a quarterback change then.
Right.
I mean, they were wanting Easton back. But, like I said, there's just so much I can say. But, I mean, I'm hurt too.
What's your opinion on and you started to there at the end of the game from what I've seen. I mean, how do you draw up schemes on defense to get more pressure next time you play them?
And I'll tell you one thing, a team, which the thing is, Georgia's been able to get pressure all year, but a team that typically all year isn't able to get pressure, you normally can't get pressure.
Right.
But the thing is, Georgia's been able to get pressure all year until this game, and that's what cost them the game. It was the fact, anytime you have a quarterback who can throw for 450 yards and is getting 3 to even 6 seconds at times to throw the ball, you're not going to win.
There was a few
Doesn't matter who your quarterback is.
Sitting there before I left to come home and finish the game and pout. When I was sitting there, several times before a play was even made, I'm yelling at the TV. There's no pressure. There's no pressure.
Oh, yeah. Right.
And I yelled that 3 or 4 times, and then he drops a bomb.
Yeah, he has all day to throw.
There was a few times he sat there for
6 seconds.
There was a few times he sat there for 6, 7, 8 seconds,
which is
sitting
unheard
there.
of.
And so I don't care how good your secondary is. Put 4 Jalen Ramseys in your secondary.
Yeah.
You aren't stopping that with 6 seconds.
No, you've got to be able to rush the pass.
But I'll say this too. I want to say 2 things before we get into what needs to change and what needs to happen. 2 things. Somebody said this week that Georgia hasn't been in adversity since the Clemson game. And I didn't think that mattered. I was like, oh, that's just because we're so good we don't need it. Man, adversity is necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, obviously there's been a bit of a switch in trends a bit here lately. We've seen Clemson go undefeated.
Right.
We've seen LSU the following year, Alabama the following year. This year, nobody will go undefeated if they win a national championship. But prior to Clemson,
Cincinnati could have technically, but they're not.
I guess you're right. Yeah. Apologize to Cincinnati fans out there that are watching the 0 that are.
They're not.
But yeah,
They have 2
prior to Clemson going undefeated, if you look, every year the national champion had a loss. I mean, a loss really does a lot of good for a team. Because I was telling David earlier,
People gave up on that Clemson team when they lost at home.
yeah, and y'all have not been exposed at any point this year. And as great as your coaches are, as great as your players are, it's hard to know when you need to correct something when it hasn't been exposed. Yeah. Georgia's been able to watch the film today and the following weeks and say, man, Kentucky wasn't able to show us that we had to fix that.
Yep.
Arkansas wasn't able to show us we had to fix that. Bama, okay, we got to fix this, we got to fix that, and they haven't had to do that this year. That can be a really beneficial thing to a football team.
Right. Another thing, like I said, the adversity thing. I didn't think that mattered, but I think it did. I think Bama had been in a state of adversity, and we hadn't. And it's like especially our D line, man. There was times they didn't look like they were trying. It's like they gave up mentally, but
A lot they were gassed a lot of times.
they were. And I don't understand. I guess Bama was playing pretty fast, but I'll say this too. I watched the film study guy on YouTube. Not the guy I pay for, but another guy that's pretty popular. And I was watching film on Georgia. He randomly posted some late night film on Georgia Friday night. So I'm gonna watch this. And what he was talking about was those stunts they run. Just about every play against Bama. You'll have Dean coming this way, Tindall coming this way. Well, against Clemson, Blues all over.
Right.
In the back of every play.
Getting home.
And he said this. He said those stunts against Bama, if you don't get home, they're going to kill you. And it was and watching that I was thinking, man, that's dangerous. Right. And over again we ran those stunts. And what that does, it lets you know the field wide open.
Right.
And several times you saw a safety come crashing down and it left the top wide open. That's when James Williams was able to get wide open, and it's because somebody had to come through the field.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's not a busted coverage, and that was the play call. And I'm not faulting Dan Lanning. Dan Lanning is world. He makes millions to coach defense.
Right.
He's world's best. I'm not faulting him. I'm simply saying execution wasn't there.
Right.
And a lot of people want to say, oh, that play call was bad. Oh, we shouldn't have ran it right there. Well, if the offensive line would have opened up a hole, it'd work.
Right.
It's all about execution.
100%.
And what Bama did was they out-executed us. And the bottom line is, a lot of people didn't believe in the Saban team. I even said I was sleeping on him. Now, I just kind of did it to pick somebody. I really, truly wasn't sleeping on him. I told you how many times before the game started. I was like, I don't feel good about this.
Yeah, you said that. Yeah, literally.
Right for the game, I was like, man, I don't feel good about this. But the bottom line is, man, I know a lot of people say, oh, well, Kirby can't get it done. He can't win the big game. That news for you. Kirby's won several big games in Georgia.
Yes.
Both times against Notre Dame, big games. Auburn SEC Championship, big game. Rose Bowl, big game. Clemson this year, big game. He's won big game
He
after
just
big
had it
game.
at Bama.
And how many coaches can stand up and say, "Oh yeah, well I'll do that"?
Dabo freaking Sweeney, baby.
Dabo Sweeney.
There's 2-2 against him.
It's pretty much really it consistently.
Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah, and that's only once.
There's just a handful of guys that have beat Saban, and man, the thing is, I don't think you can. And for the Georgia fans calling for Kirby's head, shame on you.
I agree with that completely.
And you don't deserve to watch the Michigan game, and after we beat them, you don't deserve to watch us win the national championship.
And
as far as I'm concerned,
pretty much the only reason, or I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Dave. I could be wrong on this, but they're calling for Kirby's head is because of the quarterback situation.
it is.
And I have a lot of thoughts about that person.
And let's move on to that. What needs to change in order for us to win it all? I still believe we could win it all under Stetson.
I do too.
I believe that. But I will say this on account of Stetson.
Real quick, right before you get into that. Anybody that's saying you can't, do you really think, if you're a Georgia fan, do you really think Zach Calzada's better than Stetson Bennett? Because Zach Calzada beat Big Saban.
Yep.
Right.
Alabama.
Emory Jones balled out against Bama.
Yeah.
Do you believe Emory Jones is better than Stetson? It's not. I didn't see Stetson do anything that game last week that JT couldn't do.
Yeah.
And I did see him do some things or I did see him not be able to do things that I believe JT can do. Yeah, and here's the thing. I'm not trying to act like JT is just some amazing quarterback. He really hasn't proven a whole lot against elite competition. He hasn't. But like I say, I don't believe because what Stetson is a point guard.
No, absolutely. He is.
I think majority of his passes, yes, he threw for 300-something yards. Only a couple of those were downfield. A lot of his passes, that screen out the lab went like 40. Dump off to Bowers went for like 50 and a touchdown. I mean those plays. I'm not saying blame Stetson. I'm just saying JT can do that. But those red zone moments.
Oh yeah.
JT is. I meant to look up his percentages before this, but there was a time as Georgia fans, what we've seen out of JT in his 4 or 5 games, we called him third in JT. Because it's like if it was third down and less than 15, it's like he got it.
Right.
And we went like 3 for like 12 on third down. I think with JT that goes to 7 or 12, 8 or 12, and that's the difference in a game.
And I will say this real quick, and I disagree with Dave a little bit on that, not completely. I'm not saying Stetson's necessarily the man. I'm not saying Stetson's the option, man. I could talk about this for a good while. But as I was telling David earlier, I went back and I watched I watched the whole Cincinnati game, which I think is probably the best team that JT's played, other than maybe Clemson, the defense, obviously the team as a whole.
Right, and the way that defensive line played.
Right, yeah, which it was exceptional. But a lot of Georgia fans, I saw commenting last night. I mean, on Stetson's post and stuff like that. First of all, Stetson, you sub low. JT's so much better. JT's elite and all this stuff.
Yeah, that's gotta stop.
And I asked Georgia fans that are watching this legitimately, what makes you say that? Is it the great game he had against a historically bad Mississippi State defense that gave up 700 yards in a single game?
Only scored like 28 or something.
Yeah, and was it the 24 points y'all scored against Cincinnati? And a lot of people, really 22 points offensively, y'all got that safety, and he had a good game.
I will say this, they showed a run game down.
Yeah, I mean, with 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions that game, a lot of people point, well, he led you on the game-winning drive, and he did. He deserves credit for that. But for one, it was only 3 points. And he did his job, but you ought to kick a 54-yard field goal. I watched that drive last night. He didn't make one big throw. There was 2 check downs. He was running back. He almost threw an interception to the Cincinnati safety on that game-winning drive. Was it the 135 yards he put up against Clemson on 22 completions this year against the Clemson defense that makes you go, that JT's elite? That's the only thing that I don't get. And you haven't been saying that.
I'm not sitting here saying,
right.
Put JT in, we're winning that.
Yeah, you've been saying that something's got to give, and I totally agree with that.
Right.
But to the Georgia fans that are saying JT is elite, where have you seen that? That's my thing. And if JT were to come out and start against Michigan, if JT were to come out and end up playing against Bama and he dominated one, first of all, I'd go on here and say I was wrong. And even if y'all win the Natty, I'd say y'all got to be looking at Kirby Smart. In fact, what in the heck are you doing?
Yeah.
But as I've said a million times, there is a reason. And is it possible that Stetson Bennett really is the best option? Absolutely. There's a reason he transferred from USC being JT. I know he got injured, but he got beat out by Keaton Slavis, who's not a bad quarterback, don't get me wrong.
Right.
There's a reason Stetson's starting. There's a reason Kirby Smart and Todd Monken believe in him. And maybe he really is the best option. And maybe he's not. And coaches make wrong decisions. Maybe Kirby is making the wrong decision.
And I'm not in the business of hating on Stetson. Y'all know that. I joke around during the games with JT, but and I literally told you last night, like the first thing I put you through, I was like, "Where's JT?" You're like, "You really want JT?" I was like, "Nah, I do this every game." And I'm joking around there. But no, I agree. I don't necessarily think that just because JT comes in that we win this.
Right.
But I will say this: at some point, Kirby's got to leave this game managing offense.
Yeah, that's one thing I know. Is just how many times they'll rotate players.
Yeah, I don't really understand that.
I remember the one play specifically that George Pickens made on the slant route where the dude was literally covering his eyes.
Yeah.
And he made the play, and the next play they took him out.
Yeah.
And we've done that all year.
And that's what you said. You said that's just what we do.
And then you had to play with George Pickens mossed on the guy.
Down the sideline.
Then he was out.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I was like, what are they doing? We've done that all year.
Yeah, and I understand he's coming back from injury, but this is a big old game. This isn't y'all are playing, Kentucky. I mean,
Yeah, and may be the thing with him. We were in that regard.
Shout out to you from Atlanta. See your swag down.
Hey, y'all know if you watch this one, but you're the man, Landon.
We
Hey, your pants way too tight, bro. Way too tight.
You've been eating too many KFC bowls.
I mean, there's some truth to that, but still.
It looks like this video is kind of getting up there, so we'll kind of wrap it up. So what does Georgia Truett need to change? We can sit and talk all day. I got a lot of pain that I need to let out.
It's therapeutic.
I'm literally walked through the living this evening. Oh, by the way, I haven't watched a game of football since. I can't. I genuinely can't.
You didn't watch the Michigan game?
I didn't watch the Michigan game. I watched maybe a minute or two of it.
Yeah.
I watched a little bit of Kenny Two Gloves. Absolutely.
I needed
the demon
I needed
defense.
a
little bit of a
finish.
fake slide.
That should be cheating.
That should be, but the move was dirty.
I didn't
in a
watch.
good way.
I didn't watch any of that game. Turned that off. Went to bed.
We talked about that in the reaction video.
I came home today. I couldn't watch NFL. I'm in a lot of pain. I was sitting
It's
there.
okay, but you're still there.
I played NCAA. That's all I
But
did.
you're still in the playoffs.
See, if I were dead,
No, I
I would
agree.
have played as Georgia and NCAA and just absolutely
No,
pounded.
what I did was I played in my head coaching dynasty for Georgia State, where I'm trying to go to Georgia as an offensive coordinator, defense coordinator, possibly the head coach. And I turned off offsides. I got like 40 sacks in the game.
That's
But my mom comes through and goes, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Are you good?" I was like, "Mom, Bama hurt me." She goes, "I know." So what needs to change? That's the whole point. Was really not what we got to. I'm not saying the quarterback change has to happen. Offense has got to be more efficient on third down.
Yep.
And when you're in the red zone, get points.
Yeah.
Score points.
Yeah.
Preferably a dang touchdown.
Yeah.
Secondly, defense has got to find a way. Find somebody. Of all the 5 stars we have, I know we lost Adam Anderson. He's an elite first-round pass rusher. I understand that. We lost him. Nothing you can do about it. And if there's nobody else, then that is what it is. You should have done a better job recruiting. Find somebody that can get to the quarterback
Yeah.
without fabricating it, because obviously we need those guys in cover.
Yeah.
Find a way to get the quarterback without a blitz. And thirdly, make better adjustments.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing for me.
Nothing changed from the second.
Nothing defensively changed.
Nope.
There were no adjustments made.
Nope, not a bit.
And I know everyone's going to say, "Oh, well, Georgia's defense did so much better second half." They did. But Mechie tore his ACL, and the last 2 drives, James Williams didn't come in.
Yeah.
So I'm not discrediting our defense. Here's what I think happens. I think that we beat Michigan, and we could beat them handily, and we play Alabama again. And I'm not going to say, "Hey, we win that," or "Hey, we lose that." I don't know. I believe it's hard to beat a team twice.
It is, for sure.
I believe that we've got a dang good chance to beat them. I don't believe they blow us out again.
No, I don't either.
I do believe that they can beat us again. And
Yeah.
if you ever, first off, everyone's told me today, "Oh, well, there's no way they beat y'all twice."
There's a man named Nick Saban.
It's I got 3 reasons. Nick Saban.
Bryce Young.
Baylor just beat Oklahoma State twice in a year.
Utah
just beat Oregon. If you don't think it can happen, it can happen.
Especially with it'd be even harder if it was like back to back. But I mean, you're gonna have
A month.
a month off, and then you gotta beat Michigan,
Yeah.
maybe Cincinnati.
If Kirby Smart doesn't want death threats, he better.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to. I'm not that harsh. And
So, and I know we gotta wrap this up, but and I don't think this is gonna happen. But if y'all lose to Michigan, is there any chance that Kirby's name gets thrown on the hot seat?
No.
I know by fans it is.
But no,
But by
not
the
with
AD.
not with the AD. No.
Okay, I didn't figure there was.
And all these fans said, "Oh, I want Kirby going." Who do you want?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I want an offensive guy. Why? So you can win 10 games and
Yeah.
sit out.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't be a stupid fan, and don't be a fair weather fan. Georgia could lose their next 15 games.
Yep.
I'm still going to get up and go to work tomorrow, and I'm still going to bleed red and black.
Yep.
That's all I got to say. Y'all have a good day.